that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good. Fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts. I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong. I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth. Can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have it douse, not what I'm about. Have your f***ing cloud, it be raining now. I keep making sound, go another round. I'm legend bound, can't stop me now.
You don't wanna fuck with me. A slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe.
Hey guys, Coach Dan here. We are week 2, workout 3 of our fat loss phase, and we're making some big wholesale changes today. So we're at a different gym than we normally do our pull workout in this day, but I've got a couple of changes and there's a couple of additions I wanted to make, and the equipment that we have is at this gym, not the other gym. So it's good to have flexibility. Not everyone has that, and it probably doesn't matter, but there's a couple of machines here that I like, that I want to add into my pull or back routine. The other thing is, after I go through the workout, I'm going to give you a little tip that I have. I'm starting to feel some hunger from being on my dieting or cutting phase, and I just want to give you a little tip about how I usually deal with hunger and stuff like that. All right, so we go back workout, pull workout, starting with the upper back. We're going the big boy T-bar row. So chest supported T-bar row. That is a real nice upper back exercise. The one here is really well. The resistance is good, has good feel to it. There are a couple little tweaks that I make to make it suit me, but we'll go through that when we get out there. Then we are going single arm, or the exercise is called a Meadows Row, named after John Meadows, I believe. So that is another upper back exercise that's done on the Landmine, and then that will work kind of, a bit towards more the upper traps because you're kind of standing upright. But again, I'll show you that when we get out there, and I've been putting some clips on the screen as I do this intro, so you'll get that as well. And then from there, we are going a lean forward seated cable row. So leaning forward, seated cable row, again, now working, if we've got that Meadows row that's going up, there we're now going towards a lean forward version to work kind of the lower part of the trap. So kind of ticking all the boxes. Then we hit some of the lat stuff. So lat stuff is going to go a neutral grip pull down with the narrow neutral grip. So neutral grip pull down for the lats, lower lats. We're going a single arm row variation for the thoracic or the upper portion of the lats. We are going some lat prayers. I don't know what variation I'm going to do. I'll see how bothered I am to kind of fuck around when I get out there, but you'll see it on the screen here, the variation that I've gone through. And then, yes, a seated behind the back cable curl. It has been long since I've done this one, but it is a doozy, so that'll be good. And then a seated cable Y raise, which I have been doing on this workout, but we'll just be doing it at this gym. Find new weights, new setup, all that kind of stuff. So that should be good. So a whole new back workout. I don't normally make changes like this, but coming to this gym, there's all different stuff. So got some changes to make. So my tip as far as hunger goes, I think the thing that people do struggle with hunger, and when they feel hunger, they don't like it. The tip that I have for hunger is to be mindful. So instead of going, and this is just a real subtle thing, instead of saying I am hungry, you kind of tweak that to say I feel hungry, and it allows you to put some distance between you and the feeling of hunger, because you're not actually hungry. It's not part of your identity. It's just a feeling that you have. And if you can kind of sit there with that and go, I feel hungry, we can kind of separate and give ourselves some distance. And so this is just like a bit of a mindfulness thing that I like to do, because with the dieting phase, hunger does, rear its head. And in that scenario, we can't, if we have particular goals, we can't, bow down to it. Essentially, we have to sometimes kind of push back and go, no, that's not what I'm here to do. So there's occasions when you can do some other stuff, like drink some water, chew some gum, eat some veggies, whatever it might be. But there are some times where it's just like, well, I feel hungry, I'm not hungry, that's not my identity. There's a feeling, it's over there. It's usually not so bad when you kind of sit with it and go, it's just there. Like, it's not pleasant, but it's not going to kill me. So I can sit there, look at that hunger and go, that's mild, I can deal with this and I can get through this. So that's one of my tricks, just a little bit of mindfulness to kind of kind of get through it. I think the other good thing about feeling hunger is that you kind of know you're where you should be. If your goal is weight loss, there is a signaling that happens to make you hungry, because your body doesn't essentially want you to lose weight, because that would be taking you towards starvation. So hunger is a signal to say you're not giving yourself enough food, and that is a signal that you're in a calorie deficit. So if you can kind of phrase that, position that such that it's like, well, this hunger means that I am going where I need to go. That's a good thing, as long as it's not severe. Like if you're starving on an island and there's hunger there, yeah, like that's not ideal, but a mild amount of hunger that we can sit with, be mindful with, is part and parcel of it. You can get through it. It's not going to kill you. So, all right, enough shit talk. Let's go chest supported T-bar row, the big bad upper back exercise. Okay, chest supported T-bar row. She's back. This has always been one of my favoured back exercises, but I do some tweaking. Now, ultimately, I do like this machine. However, this chest pad is brutal if done conventionally. So conventionally, the feet would be up on this platform here, and all your weight is kind of pinned on this platform. That is not super comfortable. So I do a little tweak, and the tweak is to stand on the frame or on the ground. So I am currently feet on the ground. We're supposed to have feet on here. Essentially, it's been a little while since I've done this, so I'm going to have to relearn a little bit here how to do this, but essentially we drag out and pull. Now I'm going for this as a kind of a horizontal movement, so I'm trying to get it such that my shoulder blades come forward, and we're working the upper back. So for me, it looks like it's going to be me on the ground, rolling the shoulder blades over the top of the pad. So I want to use the pad, protract scapulars over the pad, and then squeeze at the back. And so it looks like for me, I'm going to stand on the ground, kind of straddle this post, and then I'm going to do it that way. So that's our setup for this. Yeah, we want it to come horizontal. So our other rowing movements today, we're going to change angle a little bit. So one's going to come up, one's going to come with us leaning forward. So we're just trying to tick each box of the upper back, making sure we're kind of doing movements that hopefully train all the functions. All right, let's get it. Okay, next up we have the Meadows Row. This is a single arm exercise using the Landmine dingle here. So this is kind of an upper back exercise that I have done once in my program before, adding it back in. So this is kind of, I'm going to be upright rowing, which means it's going to focus more towards my upper back. The next exercise we have it coming along, I'm leaning forward and rowing to train towards the lower part of my upper back, if that makes sense. So I'll split the stance. I've got straps. This is a fat handle, these bars, like the edge of the bar that's not meant to be gripped, I suppose, but having grips is really worthwhile. And then stand up, find the angle, and then row. Let it roll down, and then row. So back when I was doing this, I did find it very effective. Yeah, it's not too much setup issue. We have a landmine here, so that's cool. And yeah, I quite like it. So she's in. Let's go. You gonna get your kids or? All right, next up, we're doing a lean forward overhand seated row. So I've got a bit of fiddling around to do with this box and whatnot. So if we think about where we've come so far, we've had a T-bar row. That's kind of coming directly this way, directly horizontally. We've had that Meadows row where I'm upright and it's coming up. So that's a bit more towards the upper trap. Now we're going to lean forward into it and more focus more towards the lower trap. So if this resistance, this is all coming out in a straight line, but I lean forward, the muscles that I work are going to be different than if I'm leaning back and whatnot. So on another day, before I've done like a lean back version to work the upper traps. Today's flavor is lean forward. So I've got this stepping box here. It's like for step ups and stuff to allow me to push me further away. Once I get this, I'll lean forward, find that angle, and then row. Want to focus on arms coming away from the body and squeezing low down on my shoulder blades. So this is going to be all about sort of the shoulder blades rolling slightly down or depressing, so to best work those muscles. Now, I am actually new to this particular version of this. I've done this as a plate-loaded machine, but this one is a bit new to me. So I'm going to find a bit of time to kind of find the angle I want to line up with the resistance to best work my upper back. This fucking, what do you call this thing? This attachment that I'm using, again, it's not set in stone, but that so far has felt pretty good in this practice set. So let's build up our weight and then we will see what kind of position I want to get into. And then the challenging thing about something like this is kind of standardizing it each time. So next week when I come back, where am I going to lean? It's hard because there's not anything to keep me there. So yeah, that'll just take a bit of work to get that out. All right, let's get in it. Let's get in it, or let's get after it, whichever one. Okay, we don't have to move at all here. So we've changed attachment and we're going to do a single arm cable row. Still going to use this box to push us away a bit, and I'm going to do this crossbody thing. So we've gone 3 exercises that are more targeted towards the upper back. T-bar row, the Meadows row going slightly up, and that lean forward row. We're back on the seated row, so we haven't gone anywhere. We've changed attachment to the D handle, and we're going to lean over to one side. So there is some evidence to suggest that the lat kind of attaches on the rib cage, and therefore if we kind of cross over the body like that, we might get a bigger stretch. So I've done this a little, actually a long time ago, I've done this one before, but it makes sense on this day. There's one other single arm row variation that I was considering, but I haven't done this in a while and I want to kind of refresh to see if it is valuable. So this is me straight on. I'm taking my left foot to the right panel with this box on there to get me further away. Leaning off to the side, stretch around the rib cage, pull in nice and close. So far in the warm-ups it feels pretty good, but we'll see when we get a little bit of extra weight on there if it's a good one or not a good one, or if I want to be more front on, or yeah, the challenging thing about changing programs sometimes and doing lots at once like I have on this day is you've got lots of remembering or refreshing on how the technique that you like goes, and then figuring out what feels best. So that takes some time sometimes. So take a couple of sets to figure out that, and then try it out at a high intensity level. Alright, next up we have a vertical pulling movement for the lats. So as with the single arm row that I've just done, that's just here, when we're trying to train the lats, usually it's best suited to keep the arm nice and close to the body. It's not that when the arm goes away from the body that the lats do nothing. It's just that you can allow some of the other muscles in the back to kind of take over, like your upper back. And that's why when we're doing T-bar rows or the other row from before, we want the arm to come away, because then it's about pulling the whole shoulder back to use the traps in the upper back. So we come to our lat pull down or a neutral grip pull down. We want to keep elbows close, like that single arms cross. So I'm going with, I've got 2 candidate handles that I'm going to trial out both in this warm up, but it's essentially a neutral grip pulling down like such. So firstly, we take the handle, sit down with us, make sure that pad's locked onto our legs, and then we're thinking about pulling the shoulder down. So yeah, arm gets pulled down, not back, not up, not any of that, down, because the lat is essentially pulling our arm down towards the lower part of our pelvis. So the lat in this regard will attach to the front of our arm, wrap underneath our armpit and down and across the rib cage and head down. So we want to kind of pull along that same line. So I've got that handle, and then also this handle, which is a slightly wider but very similar. They might not feel different at all, but I'm going to try this one out in a moment here to make sure, to see which one I have preference over, but that felt good already, so let's get after it. Okay, next up, our last back movement, we're going to go the lat prayer. Now, some candidate some candidate exercises I was considering here was going to be some form of lat prayer like this, or a seated one facing away. I've gone with this one because I can't be bothered fucking around. That's basically it, and I haven't done this one in a long time. I want to see if it feels pretty good or not, and then go from there. So I'm inclined to think a narrower grip is going to be more effective here, about shoulder width apart. So I'll take the handle like such, overhand, so my thumb is going over, step away, lean forward, drag down and in. I kind of like to pop my chest through at the end, finish that nice squeeze at the back. So on my other day, which was traditionally this day, but I've switched all the exercises at the other gym that I train at, I do a machine pullover, gets us a similar idea. But I'm going to try this, see or perceive or feel its effectiveness to me in my lats after what I've done already, and then go from there. And then if it's good, I'll keep it. If not, I can try variation and then kind of, figure it out from there. But I don't know, feels pretty good. Yeah, so give it a whirl and then make a choice later on if we want to take it out if it feels pretty shit. All right, let's build her up. Alright, due to availability, we are mixing it up. So I'll probably just do this week. Well, maybe it'll feel really good and I'll want to do it ongoing. But we're going to go a curl bar attachment, cable curl, conventional bicep curl. Over the course of my training career, I never used to find this one really effective, but more recent times, I do feel my biceps work really well on movement. So maybe this will feel good today. So I've got a curl bar, you can straight bar, rope, whatever feels best to you. We're here, curl, here, curl. Nothing to it, pretty conventional bicep exercise. 8 to 15, 10 to 15 reps, something like that. Nice and close to failure. There's not too much to be said about this. A little bit of rear delt work, and then we're out of here. Alright, order's been thrown off a chunk today, but I'm going to do an exercise that I would normally do later in the week on this day, and I just do the old switcheroo, put that one there, that do the same kind of job. So there's going to be like a rear delt fly, scapular retraction kind of thing. So I have done that at the other gym, so I'll have to figure out my weight, but essentially we're going chest supported, the rear delt, what do you call this machine? Machine fly and rear delt. It does both, pec fly and rear delt. I'm going to grab this handle here because I don't want it to be all rear delt. If I wanted to go rear delt, I'd probably internally rotate and do something like this because I want it to be upper back and traps and get that scapular retraction. I'm going overhand. Now this, neutral grip. This here will kind of, what is that, internally rotating, maybe stretch the rear delt out a little bit more and therefore probably make a little bit larger stimulus or a perception of stimulus on that rear delt. So I'm going to go neutral grip, and that height's pretty good. Maybe I'll come up and touch. But I'll do a couple of practice rounds and then I'll show you. All right, that's a wrap on the workout, guys. So all in all, not too shabby. Lots of new exercises, and also had to make adjustments from the planned workout because of availability, and yeah, just don't have the time these days to kind of hang out. So something like those curls, I had planned something different, so hopefully I'll get to do that next week. The other thing that was not my favorite in that workout was that lat prayer. I often get a lot of tricep stimulus or perceived stimulus during that, so I've got a couple tweaks and I'll do that next week to kind of tweak that and all. But all in all, pretty good. T-bar row, good to get that back in there. Good to get a couple of those things back in there. So happy with it. On the overall, couple little tweaks, but we can do that all next week. So very good. Yeah, feel good. Yeah, dieting. So yeah, just to reiterate from the intro, like hunger is definitely a thing that comes from trying to get a little bit leaner, and we just have to often, just kind of find a way to get through it. And one of my strategies is just to kind of remind yourself that you feel hungry. You're not hungry yourself. Like, it's not a part of your identity. It's a feeling that you feel. And if you can kind of take that hunger, place it somewhere and go, I feel hungry. Let me look at that. Is it really worth pursuing that? And then you can kind of think on it and not react immediately. Like, normally we go hungry, get food, get bad food usually, make ourselves feel better. But if I can separate myself and go, I feel hungry, it's over there, but I can deal with it, it's okay, and be mindful surrounding it. I found that to be a really helpful strategy, along with, potentially, high volume foods, or having a drink before you do something like eat something you shouldn't, and stuff like that. So anyway, that's that. Tomorrow, push for the boys As always, guys, if you could, it would be really appreciated if you could hit the little subscribe up here. If you're liking the content, you can click on another video here. And as always, it's about progress over perfection. Coach Dan, signing off.